Bonjour! Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Fasten up your seatbelt and enjoy this journey into Muse World with Lamia Nobel. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a new episode of Muse World. My guest today is a dearest friend of mine. He's currently on holidays in Dubai, so I managed to catch him quickly to be able to do this episode. So, Kas.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm all right.
Thank
All
you.
the better for seeing you.
Thank you for making it. Honestly, I know you're on holidays.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to be enjoying, but you...
This is enjoyable, man. I get to spend time with you, so it's all good. All good.
Thank you so much, Kas, for coming.
Come on, it's all good.
All right. So, let's get started. I like to start to kind of know a little bit about the early years of my guest. Because as much as we're friends, sometimes I don't know certain things about them. And I like to get to know how was their early years, because I feel like it kind of shaped also who you are today.
Okay.
If you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So, briefly, just you're from the UK?
From the UK, I'm from London, yeah.
All right, so let's start from there.
Okay. I mean, I don't really it's without the direct question, like early years is such a broad thing. So born, raised in London, pretty much my whole life.
Okay.
Spent some time outside of London in Canada, Colombia, obviously over here for a little while.
Yeah.
That was more in my adulthood. But yeah, London life is London life. It was just, growing up in, if you want to call it the slums or the not so desirable part of London. But yeah, it's kind of I don't know, I don't feel like the story, normally I don't feel like the story is any different from anyone else apart from when I come here. And then it just seems like my story from growing up is just a world apart from anyone else's. But there's, what do you want to know? I'm open book. So
how was your childhood growing up in the UK? Let's put it like that.
Cool. So in London, and one of the things I love about London, one of the things that brought me back is the culture. There is such a mesh of again, you got English and then you got British.
Yes.
And then from a British point of view, there are so many different versions or styles or whatever. There is a Black British community out there. And then within that, there are subcultures. There's a Caribbean Black British. There's an African Black British. There's, I'm second generation. My dad's from Trinidad. My mom's from Barbados. And then their parents came over during something called the Windrush. But we still had a lot of the culture from the Caribbean. And then you had a youth culture or a Black culture or whatever from the UK. So it's a little bit of a mesh of everything. I enjoyed my childhood. The neighborhood was, and again, I'm very careful when I say this stuff because I don't want it to seem like a rags to riches or but the neighborhood is known as a rough area. Maybe not so much now because of gentrification, but where I was growing up, a lot of crime, a lot of poverty, a lot of all of that kind of stuff. So as you get older, you try to find ways to navigate through that. And then some people went one way, some people went another way. I'm grateful for the influences that I had around me that allowed me to come the way that I've come. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you because I mean, to be fair, and apart from Dubai, I think anywhere where you go in the world, there's always that kind of toughness around you. And I as much as I don't like it, but I like the fact that it kind of makes you grow up quickly and be very alert quickly so that at a young age, okay, I have to be a bit careful here and there. I still remember the first time I came to Dubai and I saw people leaving their phone on the table, their back, and I'm like, what is happening?
To this day, I still can't do that. To this day, I still can't
Even I remember I had people telling me, and I still have friends doing that. They leave their door open, they don't close it. And I'm like, bro,
Yep.
I can't do that.
Yep.
My mind would be freaking going 360 if I were to leave it open.
Yeah.
Like, no way.
Yeah. I think also like, I think because I'm always in transit, like I don't spend, well, even when I was here, I never spent all of my time in Dubai. So I was always between here and London and Colombia and whatever. So for me, it was beneficial not to sink too deep into that false sense of security that sometimes Dubai can give you. There's pros and cons to everything. Like this is one of the safest places that I've ever been. And it's nice not to have that in the back of your mind. What if?
Yeah, I get you.
That said, Dubai is very, very distant from the rest of the world when it comes to that side of things. So for me personally, it didn't necessarily make too much sense to be able to adopt that lifestyle, because the moment I go away and get too comfortable into it, I have to be able to switch back. Otherwise, there's problems. Perfect example is when I came back here after being away for 15, 16 months, they gave me a car at the airport. And then I'm like, oh shit, I have to drive on the right side of the road.
Yeah.
Like, I had gotten so used to the left side, being back on the right side. That drive back to where my apartment was the scariest thing ever, because I just haven't done it in a little while.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, I used to do it all the time. So same thing, like, when it comes to the safety element and stuff, it's beautiful to be able to have here. I like the idea of being on my P's and Q's sometimes and just being alert. And it's kind of just the way that I am anyway. So it benefits me to, when I was in Colombia, you couldn't do the stuff that you can do over here. Simple. That's it. In London, you can't do the stuff you can do over here. 100%. So again, there's pros, and then there's cons. I just kind of like to make sure that I've got one foot firmly placed in both spaces, and I don't adopt too much of one side that doesn't allow me to operate in the other space. So
okay, I hear you. So now that we've started already talking about Dubai, but you came to Dubai 3 years ago, correct? What brought you to Dubai initially?
A couple things. One, my partner at the time lived in Dubai. And I was doing Colombia for a couple of years before. The plan was to be able to go over there, nest for the both of us, set up a business, sort out an apartment, and then have all of us go and live in Colombia. Rewind a little bit. When she got the job out here, initially we were both supposed to come out here. And then I went on holiday. I did Cuba, Colombia, Costa Rica, and then absolutely fell in love with the richness of the culture and whatnot over there. And I was like, okay, like this is the place, trust me. And then therefore she's not an idiot. So she's not just gonna go out when I say I've been somewhere for a week. So I had to test it. I had to go out there and live out there for a little bit. So after doing that, like it confirmed this is the space for me. So then I'm out there, I'm working, I'm nesting, I'm building and whatnot. And then COVID comes. And then obviously when COVID comes now, it's a different story because countries are operating differently. Like landscapes are operating differently. You can't just, the things that you were planning to do are now threatened. You don't know when things are going to be back online, if things are going to be back online, like what changes, all of that kind of stuff. And at the time where I was working, I'd run a couple of businesses before. They were in good conditions. And therefore I was going into the shops that I owned in London and my staff were telling me, look, you're in the way, we don't need you kind of thing.
I get
we're handling it. So that was an opportunity for me to travel. And then, from there it was like, well, I can work from anywhere in the world. She is over here and she is settled and has a good job and well paid and she enjoys it over here and whatnot. Okay. And the second reason was that Dubai, for me, dealt with COVID probably better than anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, I heard about. I mean, I was in the UK during COVID, but a lot of people. I mean, I shared my story about COVID. Fucking sorry, but horrible back in the UK. It was really bad.
Yeah, UK had lockdown after lockdown. UK had politicians saying one thing and doing another. UK was a mess. And as a result, like then there was the rest of Europe, and Europe were quite strict. They were saying nobody leaves their house. You have to fill in paperwork to go to the shop and get groceries. There was that kind of thing. So and then people start closing their borders and all of that kind of stuff. I'd already at this part spent 7 months or 6 months away from my partner. Based on the fact that the lockdown came quickly. We weren't allowed to travel, and therefore when things opened up again, as soon as they opened up again, it was like, all right, cool, let me get over there. And at least then we can figure out the rest. But on top of it, Dubai was just like, look, put on a mask, like make sure you I don't know, you operate safely,
Yeah, of course.
like approach with caution, all of that kind of stuff. But you kind of have to live life.
Yeah.
And apparently they did do the whole lockdown, nobody comes out of their house thing for a period of time. But by the time I got here, that part was over. And everybody else was still undecided and whatnot. Whereas Dubai kind of just made the decision and then went for it. And for me, it was just an easier space to live in. So I did have visa issues in the beginning, because UK only allows a 30-day visa, which meant every single month I had to travel. So I had to travel to come back to the country. But then on top of it, I had to find places where the borders were open. I had to find places that were cheap enough to be able to travel to, and places that I desired to be at.
Yeah,
and certain places I didn't want to go. So like navigating that was a little bit crazy as well. But yeah, like those are the reasons, like my partner, and also just how Dubai dealt with it.
Okay. So now let's say after all this COVID mess passed away, what was your impression of Dubai?
This is so weird, because my people at home listen to this. They're going to be listening keenly, because I wasn't sold on the idea of Dubai in the beginning. Like the stereotypes, bling bling, like lack of culture, this and like whatever. Poverty, that there was a side of Dubai that nobody sees, and this, that, the other. And I don't know, I've got a big thing about pretense. Like I don't like pretentious stuff and whatnot. Like I try to live a simple life. I don't get involved in too much. Even this, like I don't do much in front of the camera work. I'm normally behind the camera. So for me, it was like, I don't particularly want to be seen. Like I just want to be able to get on with life and whatnot. Coming here though, instantly you saw that whatever life you wanted to live here was possible. So if you wanted to live the quiet life, you could do that. If you wanted to live an active life, like, oh my God, there's options to be able to do that. If you wanted to be able to, if you had money, like a lot of money, and you wanted to be able to do things you couldn't do anywhere else, you could do that. If you wanted to pretend that you had money and look like you have money, but don't really have money, there's spaces for you to be able to do that here. So like, yes, the reason why the bling bling part of Dubai was so prominent abroad is because they are the loudest.
Yeah.
Like,
of course.
Those are the things that get spoken about. It's the more kind of hyperbolic
100%.
stuff. But the life I was able to live out here was cool. Struggled in the beginning in terms of building community, because again, Dubai is not really like anywhere else. It's like 97% like expats or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's true.
And then your access to the culture over here of Emiratis is quite limited. So whatever Dubai's culture is, you don't really have access to it. Like you have access to everyone else, but you don't have access to that particular culture, which was again a little bit of a shock for me. So then you're kind of like, all right, what is the way of life here? Because everyone I'm meeting, this person's from Brazil, this person's from Moldova, this person's from Malaysia, this person's from like, so what are we doing here? Other than like kind of transient and come in and go in and whatnot, like what is the way? What is the culture here? So in doing that, started a couple of like projects and all of the rest of it. Started a volleyball kind of company here because I used to play football. I think it was easy for me to fall into a football community because in London, we play football religiously. We grew up playing football. So by the time I came here, like, I don't know, the way people responded to me playing football was a little bit different because I played it for so long. Everybody thought I was, I don't know, some sort of professional or whatever when I came off the pitch, and it really wasn't that. But I'm playing with people that, again, football's not their first language, for example. So instantly when you're good at something, it becomes easier to make friends in that space because people like what you have to offer and there's a mastery level and whatnot. From there, built a community. And then I was like, I've never played volleyball. I grew up in London. Like, we barely have beaches over there. Do you understand what I'm saying? So everybody else is talking about they played for volleyball teams when they were younger and all of that kind of stuff. I never played it, so I wanted to do it. We went to Kite Beach, rented a court, played, really, really enjoyed it. So I was like, okay, cool. Let's see if we can do something. From there, like, we started a WhatsApp group, everything. And then before you knew it, it grew. But before, I don't know, say 5-6 weeks, there was 70 people in the WhatsApp group. I was meeting people constantly. Everybody was sharing it. So that became a space for people to be able to come, meet new people, because that's another thing. Dubai can be an extremely lonely place.
Yes.
So it was a place where you could build a community. It wasn't a novelty thing where you come, I've done it now and I can leave. No, you can come every single week, know that this person and this person and this person's going to be there. You can build relationships. All of that kind of stuff can happen. At the same time, kind of like there is a vibe around it. Like there's a community. So that happened. And then we did the same thing with Mafia, a game called Mafia. And there's like Mafia nights out here. They had English speaking ones and Russian speaking ones. I joined that community. That was cool. So then instantly I started to make friends, meet people, all of the rest of it. I joined the salsa community out here, as you know. So then there was people there. So instantly now it became from 3 months of not really knowing how things work and how to make friends and all of the rest of it, where everywhere else in the world I go, making friends is the easiest thing for me. Overnight, it was like, okay, well, now you can create certain spaces
100%.
and then build your own communities. And that's kind of what happened out here. So
yeah, I agree. And I can completely relate, because I remember, obviously, I came during summertime, June 2020, no, end of May 2021. And I remember from June to like November, I was lonely. Like,
you came in 2021?
2021, yeah. 2022, 2021, 22, 23, yeah.
I thought you'd been here way before me.
2021, yeah.
Okay.
2020, yeah, 2021 I came. 2021.
Kudos, man, you've done well.
And I remember the first like couple of months I hated. First of all, I came at the worst period of the year.
In the heat, in the summer, yeah, of course.
And the funny thing is, people are like, "But you're from an island.
Everyone says that.
Come on, you don't know the heat here and the heat in my place.
Different heat. It's a different heat.
We're talking about a different type of heat right now. And on top of the heat, you've got humidity.
Yeah, that comes a little bit later. That was an experience for me. So yeah, I'm with you.
So you've got like two battles in front of you for like at least 3-4 months. And then obviously I was still living in a hotel apartment because, you know, I was living in London before. My plan was just like, go back to London. I was in a mission. I was like, I don't know how, I'll go back. And then when I took my apartment finally, because my hotel apartment wanted to charge me double the price I was paying because it was November, I was like, okay, I'm a bit in shite. So I need to actually find a place to stay.
Yeah.
Took a 1-year lease, moved to JVC, looked for a gym, because for me, gym was like, I needed a proper gym, you know? Then found WellFit.
Yep.
And then one thing led to another. And I was like, not bad, you know?
Is that where I met you?
Yeah, no, I met you. We went to watch football, the final of France World Cup with Julie.
With Julie, yeah.
And then that's when I met you.
Yeah. Let's not talk about that.
But that's a subject for another day. But yeah, I cried. And he has a video of me crying. He does. I remember I used to see you all the time on the gym floor, but I would miss you because I would go to martial arts, and I mean we didn't know each other at this point, and then it was and that's the thing that I like with like communities. Like once you meet, it's so organic. It's so nice to be just like, hey, cool, you meet, and then you just vibe along. And even the first time when you left, you did a big escape room. No, not.
Yes.
Remember that night?
It was like a
escape.
Yeah, it
kind
was
of
like
room.
It wasn't paint, like a laser tag kind of.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was so cool because, I mean, I'd say almost half of the people that was there were people from the gym that I just knew face wise, but never talked.
You
do, and then you're like, hey, cool, and you chat along, and then I was like, he done that.
That's been my thing, man. Like, if there's one thing that I know that that I kind of accept that I'm good at is bringing people together. Like, probably don't leverage it well enough in terms of like, I don't know, financially or whatever. But I know that like anywhere I go, there's an energy that I gravitate towards. And when that energy is pure, when that energy is there, this person has that energy, this person has that energy. I don't have any qualms about bringing them together because the energy is pretty much the same. It's cyclic, so everybody contributes, everybody gives, everybody receives, and then that's kind of what happened there. Like at that same event you were talking about, salsa was there, like football was there, like gym was there, like everything was in the same space. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And then now I see kind of like you've had Lo on here. We went to go see her earlier on, and this is kind of what I like about like the things that I can do. Just when bring people together, you can then look at somebody's Instagram and see these two are on holiday together. And they met through me, and that was really cool, and that kind of thing. So
that's true. And I think that's very important, like having a community where like different kind of communities. So you actually, so for people, I want to put it out there, for people that are looking for like, that are new to Dubai, that are lonely, there are communities. And we discussed that even with Julie when she came on the podcast. Whatever you want, there's so freaking many communities out there. So you just got to do your research, reach out to the people, and you'll meet like-minded people.
Yeah, I mean, it's that's the hard part. The hard part is one, throwing yourself in, and it's a lottery. Like, you know what you like, and when you identify it, it's easy to be able to connect with. But there are a million people and a million communities. How do you decide which one you're going to try? And then once you do try it, how do you decide which one or which person you're going to speak to or connect with? And there has to be something. If it's not based on looks, there has to be something, and that's the lottery. And that's where I can understand people's trepidation a little bit with regards to kind of just throwing themselves, because it's exhausting.
Yeah, of
like
course.
To keep going to different things and hitting and missing and missing and missing until you find that thing, especially when you don't see yourself as the same as everyone else, or when you're quite introverted or whatever the situation is. So I get it. And again, it's about finding the communities. I think it's important that community leaders, they account for those types of people.
Yes.
Because then naturally everything happens organically.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
I agree. Now, one thing that I want to ask you, because I think I never asked you this question. Despite having so many friends, so many communities, like life is, I guess, good here. What made you decide to leave Dubai? Or you knew you knew that you were gonna leave?
So yeah, I mean, the plan was never to be here forever. But what happens is, like, I meet people that, because Dubai's got a way of holding on to people.
Yeah.
Like they plan to come in for 1 year, 2 years, and 12 years later they're here, for example.
Guilty.
And and the lifestyle is so nice over here. Like, I think there's a few things. One, the loneliness over here, not necessarily for me, but I kept feeling it in people that I was meeting.
Yeah.
Like, it almost feels a little bit like, I don't know whether it's PTSD or whatever, but like, people build relationships and then somebody leaves.
Yep.
Like, and then you feel, or like, a lot of things here are novelty based. So it seems like people come here, they fall in love with someone. They confuse intensity with intimacy.
Yeah.
Like, and they're not necessarily close with the person, they're just intense with the person. So they spend 3 months doing everything together and whatever. Then at some point you need to come up for air.
Yeah, of
like,
course.
And you have a little bit of a distance. One person starts to feel, this person doesn't love me anymore, whatever the situation. Or because things are so novelty based, they meet somebody else.
Yeah.
And that person is also really, really cool. And this person and then they follow this person, and then this, like, what about this person? And then, so it almost felt like it became easy to be able to get the really nice car, the apartment in the marina, overlooking this, that, the other, seeing the Burj, X, Y, and Z. But after that, there felt like an emptiness in a lot of people that I was meeting. And I kind of I see myself as an empath, so I can kind of feel like these things when I see them. And it saddened me a little bit. And not to say that doesn't happen in the UK, definitely happens in the UK. But I think because of certain cultures that are already there and they're long-standing, like, which I couldn't find over here. So, for example, I can always know that there is a group of people that maybe look like me, eat the same foods as me, listen to the same music as me, the same literature, X, Y, and Z. I can just go there and not have to make an effort to be understood.
Okay,
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
100%. I get you.
And I think that is so important, because it's easy to operate at this level all the time, but like, there's roots, and like, so you need depth when it comes to those things. So that was one of the things. Two, I miss the arts,
Okay.
like creativity. And it's weird, but I have a theory that sometimes poverty can breed creativity, because people that don't have the resources
Yes.
have to become resourceful.
Yes.
So when I went to Colombia, for example, oh my goodness, some of the stuff that I saw in the poorest places, people making arts on the streets with a blade and spray cans and cardboard, and the stuff looked like things you could hang up in your house, for example. Like, you don't have a choice. Like, whereas over here, because things are a lot of things are ready-made and they're done and whatnot, it's soft life.
Yeah, I hear you.
But as a result, I feel like I can go to places and the singers here are not the singers in London, or the actors here are not the actors in London. Or I almost feel like I've been spoiled from the arts, because there is almost, to be visible in the UK, to be visible, especially in the arts, I reckon you need to be in the top 5, 10%. And therefore, if you're not there, the competition is so fierce. Yeah. You kind of have to be in the lab, and you have to be working until you're ready to be able to you've got that unique thing about you that people kind of go towards. Yeah. If not, you're not going to be visible. And even there is always a pack of hungry wolves waiting to tear down your idea, your business idea, your creative, your X, Y, and Z. And that sounds toxic. Yeah. But as a result, it really forces you to think about the nuances in what you're building and what you're creating, and if it's good enough, and is it serving that person, and all of that. It forces you not to come out sometimes until you are ready. Yep. Like, it really, really does make diamonds. Like, sometimes here, I just find that there's a lot of space. Yeah. And nobody really cares, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah, exactly. I agree. I get what you mean.
I think it's just that. I think it's, as much as everybody's in your business and that can be seen as a toxic thing in the UK, if you do something and I say that's not good, like, that's my opinion, you're getting data from it. Whereas I kind of felt like over here, if you do something and people don't have an opinion, or they just let you do it, you don't really ever know whether your shit stinks, or whether it's really good, or whether it's So going back home, I'd go to a place called Vula and Friends. It's a place called Ronnie Scott's, and it's a jazz night, and the level of the musicians there, like goosebumps.
Yeah, I think I saw your story.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, and it's these things that I like, and I used to go to certain places, and like, we used to have things like the Sunday show, or something for Sunday, or comedy clubs, and all of the rest of it people can go to, and I could go by myself. And because there were people that still enjoyed from the same community, I would come home with new friends, or with having met new people, or whatever the situation is. I kind of felt like over here, you've got great ideas, like in Dubai, but what happens is there is the architecture that they give you a brand new shiny building. It looks amazing. It's huge. Like, the tech on the inside is incredible. Like, but when you go inside, it's 4 people. Like in the beginning, it's great. You get a lot of people, but the novelty wears off and something else comes up. So when you go there, there's not really a vibe and a soul and a culture and do you understand what I'm saying?
This I completely agree.
In London now, I felt that they don't have the buildings that are as pretty, and they don't have the tech. Things might be in a warehouse, but you've got this community, and it's just buzzing with people, and they want to get involved in stuff, and they're looking for something to be able to. So then when I went back to London, I realized that, like, a lot of that stuff had gone. And a lot of the stuff that was happening in London was almost going the same way as things that I saw over here. Okay. So they've got Life-Size Monopoly, and I don't know, The Cube, and all of these game shows that you can go to, but you go there once and you take part in it, and you're kind of like, all right, I've done it now. Right? Whereas what I created over there, and it was kind of unfinished business when I went over there, it was about creating something that people could come back to, that could feel a part of, almost for lonely London, if that makes sense. Where people can make friends, people can build connections, people can, like, because it's hard. As an adult, especially with what's going on in London with regards to finances and all of the rest of it, it's difficult. You come home after a long day's work, like, and you need to sleep. Maybe you got time for a series or read a book if you're lucky. Like, if you care about it, you go to the gym, whatever. You go home and sleep, and you do it all over again tomorrow. 100%. So it can be very, very, very difficult, and again, very lonely, and almost like you can become very secluded, not even necessarily intentionally. So yeah, like, it was unfinished business. I thought I was coming home to something that when I got there wasn't there. And then I felt a little bit displaced. I was like, do I need to go back to Dubai? But I've just moved myself and my missus over here. So I need to make this work now. What is the idea? What is the thing? And that's kind of, So that's why I went home. I went home, one, because there was a romantic story about home that when I got there wasn't there. That's number one. Number two, I kind of had unfinished businesses. Number three, I don't feel like I was fulfilled over here. Like this is going to sound so crazy. Like, I've always had an issue with the concept of, for example, people pumping my gas for me.
Yeah, I get you.
I just don't know where else in the world. I don't see this stuff. And for me, that's just an example. But I like to use my hands. I like to use my mind. I like to be able to solve problems. And I get a kick out of finding a solution to something that was a problem before, or having to structure my day around something, or be disciplined, or I feel like it teaches me certain values. And I kind of feel like over here, it's just like anything you want. Like when I found out there's an app that could deliver petrol to you and you just leave your petrol cap open. I jumped on a boat. I was on my first boat party and we was in the middle of whatever it is, the river, whatever the lake or whatever it is over here. And then somebody said, oh, we're going to go to the shop. Do you want anything? How are you going to go to the shop? We're in the middle of the water. I looked over and there was another boat, a car for boats.
Yes, I saw that last year.
So you could just jump off of the boat that you were on into it. And on the inside, it looks exactly like a shop. And I was like, this is insane. This is insane. Like they've got convenience down to such a T.
Yeah.
And if you like that stuff, if you like the soft life, this is the perfect place for you. I don't think I'm ready for that yet. I like the fact that I don't want to lose my faculties. I like the fact that I can be busy. I can use my head. I can use my hands. I can do things. I don't want to feel guilty for hanging up my own coat in a restaurant because somebody's there to do that to me and for me. And when I don't give them my coat, their manager looks at them like, don't let anybody else do that stuff. Like, this is your job. Do you understand what I'm saying? I like that idea. These are the things that maybe small things for some, but for me, it was important. It was important to be able to go home and.
No, I hear you, because and a lot of people never understood why I have so much love for London. Obviously here I'm building something here in Dubai, and I'm like, you know what, my time is still for Dubai for now. But I always said to everyone, my heart still lies in London, because maybe I still have, and like you said, like you just mentioned, when you came back, things were not the same, because a lot of people told me the same thing. And that's the reason why end of the year, I want to go and experience that for myself, even though I'm going for a festive season. So I don't know how much experience I will get there. But it's just like, there's an authenticity in London that you will not find anywhere else. And I hear you about all the little details. Now, let's go back. So you go back to the UK. How do you readapt to the UK lifestyle after having all of these perks of like Dubai that you mentioned? Were you able to switch back to the London lifestyle quickly?
Yes and no. Like I went back on a mission, and I didn't know what my mission was, but I just knew that I wanted to create, I wanted to build, I wanted to so when I got back, to get back into the lifestyle wasn't the most difficult thing, because I was always back and forth. I was always hopping over. I had steady work. So I was okay. I was more worried about my partner and how she was going to adapt, and whether she was going to find work, and like if she wasn't happy, then I was going to end up being miserable. So it was more just about making sure that I made the right decision for the both of us at the time. Acclimatizing was fine. There was just always a bit of a frustration because I did not know what the idea was, what I wanted to create, what I wanted to do. And that for me, I get jittery a little bit. Like I can't, the idea of just relaxing until the idea comes. Like I'm so proactive. I like to run towards stuff, but you can't run towards, I don't know, like inspiration or like those kind of things there. So you can try and solve things, but you need to wait till the idea comes. So there was a lot of waiting around. There was a lot of, maybe here, maybe about this, like ideation and whatnot, but nothing really hit. And I know me, I've been running businesses since I was 18. I'm 38 now. Like, so.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
No way.
38.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I never gave you
Yeah.
38.
38. So I've been doing this for the best part of 20 years. I know when an idea is ready. I know when an idea is cooked enough for me to be able to move with it and not. And I had all of these ideas that were half baked and just about, but what if this? And I'm not sure about this. And it wasn't the thing. It wasn't the golden ticket. So when it finally came, I was just like, okay, great. Like, we're moving with this. We are absolutely moving with this. And that didn't come until January.
Okay.
And I arrived back in UK in July. So that's 5 months,
Yeah.
5-6 months of not aimlessness, but just willing and waiting for something to be able to hit me, something to be able to draw inspiration from, to be able to create something, to find a need that Londoners had, and that's something that I could supply. Otherwise, I wouldn't be visible. When we're talking about that visibility thing.
And so that's when you created Liars and Friends.
Yep, exactly.
So for the people who don't know what's the concept, give us a bit of like how the idea came up to you and how do you run it?
Okay, so I was introduced to the game Mafia. In France, they call it Werewolf. There's a few, but I was introduced to the game Mafia maybe about 15 years ago. I used to, again, always doing community stuff. So I used to have 2 events yearly because I was always busy. I used to have these pocket events that I used to see all of my people at. One was a birthday. The other one was January because it was kind of 6 months apart. And we used to rent out this house, a really big house that belonged to an old station master, and just kind of get 24 people in, and we have a weekender. No TV, it was just games. It was like really, really kind of camaraderie, good vibes, all of that kind of stuff. And on the Saturday, we play Mafia. And we play this game, and we like, for those that don't know what Mafia is, it's basically like a whodunit game, or who did a game. It's like an investigative game where there is a daytime phase and a nighttime phase. People cover their eyes or wear masks or whatever. Everybody's given a card which has a role on it. Essentially, you're a good guy or a bad guy. You're a mafia or a civilian. And then from there, the mafia open their eyes when everybody's eyes are closed, and they get to see who they're playing with. So each round, they have to choose someone to eliminate. And then when everybody takes their mask off or uncovers their eyes, everybody looks the same. So now the civilians have to identify who among them is the mafia. And then each round, if they identify the wrong person, then that person goes out. It goes again, they close their eyes, mafia tries to kill someone else. So the aim of the game is for the civilians to be able to identify all of the mafia and get them out, or for the mafia is to be able to equal or outnumber the amount of civilians left in the game. So the game was created in Russia somewhere by some student, I think it was in the 60s or whatever, might even have been before, but the idea was to prove, it's a social experiment, and the idea is to prove that an informed minority will do better in society than an uninformed majority. So it's interesting, the dynamics that come from the game, where people come and like there's friends and partners and all of these people that come together, and then the lies that are told, and how good are you at lying, and what's your body language like, how good are you at investigating. There's so many different layers that come through it. So it became a really good vehicle for getting people talking, getting people together, getting people. And I think we used to play this game every year.
Okay.
And I've got some friends that are really good creatives. So I've got some friends that are like chart singers or Hollywood actors and all of the rest of it. And they're really, really close to me. So when these people would come, we'd find that they'd create these roles.
Okay.
Just to make themselves a little bit more believable, just to be able to have some fun with it. And then one year one guy created a role, and this guy was like a cancer survivor, and everybody felt really soft and sad for him. And therefore we didn't even suspect him in the game. As much as we know it's a game, cognitively, you still believe certain things and whatnot. Yeah. So in the end, it turned out he was the mafia, and everybody was so spun. Everybody felt so betrayed. Everybody felt... And then the next year, people started creating their own characters. Yeah. Before you know it, by year 8 and year 9, people are in costumes, people are creating outfits, people are doing all of this. So it became a really, really big thing. Okay. I'm getting calls 6 months before the event saying to me, this is the character I'm working on, like for the game, right? Yeah. So that was expensive. But then I came here and joined the community of Russians, Mafia.Dubai, that's what they are on Instagram. And they played and they were very serious. These guys don't mess around. They're very calculated. I don't know how they do it, but they're so good at understanding who's got what card and all of the rest of it. and there's like roles, and they create all of these new roles that add different layers to the game and whatnot. So there, like I remember the first time I played and I made a bad decision, and people didn't want to talk to me for the rest of the night.
No
like,
way.
yeah, it was that's it. They play serious, like straight faces, everything. It's not a joke. So at that point, I'd had the benefit of all the way east, which is crazy expensive, characters, costumes, all of that stuff, and all the way west, which is just very, very serious, calculated, methodical, like forensic, like all of that kind of stuff. So I was like, okay, cool. And in both versions of the game, there is still the same level of uncertainty, of adventure, of exploration, of not knowing what's going to happen next, of mistrust and who's lying and identification and all of that kind of stuff. Like, this could work. So it took me a little while, but when we got back to London, I was like, okay, I want to create a space like the spaces that I had, like the spaces that I wanted to come back to London for, where people could come but be a part of something, not just come play once and then go. Come and be a part of something, something that was a safe space, something that allowed people to be able to come, join, like meet new people, like have good fun, all of that. I wanted to make it alcohol free, so there was no like. I wanted it to be almost kid again kind of
course.
thing. And yeah, the idea is mainly just about the strap line was meet, mingle, and mislead.
Okay.
Like, because you meet people, you get to mingle, network, if you want to call it that. And then again, the part of the game is about lying. Well, what tends to happen after the game is me as somebody that hates to be in a room where people say, okay, guys, network. Go and talk to someone you haven't spoken to already. Or sit next to someone you haven't. I can't stand that stuff. It's for me, it just feels it's so inauthentic for me.
Yeah.
Some people are great at it. So the two things I wanted to look after in this space is I wanted to look after women and I wanted to look after introverts.
Okay.
Those are the two people that I wanted to make sure that I catered for, because I find that once you create a space that those people are comfortable, everything else takes care of itself.
Yeah, I
right.
agree.
So for me, it was making sure women, when they walked into a space, didn't feel judged, didn't feel like this guy, because they were good looking, was gonna jump on them, didn't feel like they had to wear, face full of makeup if they didn't want to. They could come in athletic clothes or after work clothes or whatever, and just kind of really, really feel like you've got everything you need and you're catered for. Men as well, but like I wanted to make sure that women felt, because men tend to take care of themselves in a space.
I hear you.
Same thing for introverts. Like, it's very, very daunting to walk into a space and feel like you have to make a connection, have to say something, have to do this and whatnot. So it was more just like, we encourage you to come out of your shell as and when you're ready. But the thing about the game is, after the game is finished, there is always a, why did you vote for me? I told you that I wasn't this person. Or, oh man, I don't know why I didn't believe you, man. There was always something. You played the game so well. There was always something that led to a really, really organic and authentic kind of connection. And therefore you didn't have to think twice about, how is this person going to perceive me if I start speaking to them? Like, am I this? Am I that? Am I doing this? It was just really, really natural, because you just taken part in something with them. So therefore it felt like, and you kind of got a gist of their personality there. So the game kind of acts as a vehicle for that.
Okay.
And again, the game is a lot of fun, but for me, it was just about creating a community, and now we have that, and it's growing rapidly, and like it does really well. So yeah, that's the idea behind it. So
I love it. Honestly, first of all, congrats for doing that.
Thank you.
And it's such a great thing bringing people together, mainly in London, because as much as, we say Dubai is a lonely city, but London as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Like,
100%.
I like remember last time when we met in the car, I was telling you, I was very lonely in London.
When you came to London.
Like, for me, when I was there, that's when I understood what loneliness was all about. I come from two islands where family and friends are a big thing, like always surrounded. And then suddenly you move, as much as I was happy having my own studio, slowly as the month was going by, you're like, oh, all right. So
it's
I
a bit
guess
cold. People are a bit cold.
Yeah.
I get it.
Remember, the funny thing is, I think it was the first 2 weeks or so, when I walked or when I was speaking or just like going to a shop, I'm like, hi, good morning, thank you, la la. I remember there was someone who told me at that time that I was talking to, it's like, for people there, you're a bit weird. And I was like, what? And I'm like, yeah, you're a bit much. And I'm like, what? I'm just like being me, you know? And they're like, yeah, but people are not like that over there. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right. And it was kind of a eye-opening moment for me when that person said that to me. But yeah, I understood what loneliness was, and like I wish I was there. When I wish I was still in London with this happening, because it's such a nice concept. I like everything about it. I like the fact that you're bringing back that inner child, because we are adults, you know, we have to take life seriously. 3/4 of the time, I have to make decision and, you know, work, life, partner, family, etc., etc.
There's a lot, and it can be strenuous, and
exactly. And just like for that moment, you're just like, switch off. Let's just focus, have fun, enjoy that moment.
Yeah, man, for 3 hours, just come and meet people, and don't feel like you need to meet people if you don't want to, and just play a game where you don't have to remember you're in a shite relationship, or you don't have to remember that you don't like your job, or you don't have to remember all of that stuff. Just just play. Just come and play.
Honestly, I don't remember the last time I played Monopoly or Uno or like these guys. Bear in mind, I love games. Like I just love it. It's like anytime, hit me up. You want to play Uno? Let's play Uno. You want to play Monopoly? And I'm very competitive.
I've only played Uno once. I still don't remember how to play it. I know everyone here. I didn't realize how big of a game it is.
It is actually, and if you're in a big group, we get saucy.
I didn't realize how big of a game it is.
It gets saucy, but you know what? I'm glad, and I wish you the best. And I hope that when I come to London, I get a chance to play.
Get involved, man. Come on.
I wanna get involved. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, man. It'll be good. We'd love to have you. We'd love to have you, man. 100%. All right.
I'll book my ticket in advance.
Okay, cool. Don't worry. No, we got you. It's all good. It's all good.
I'm gonna do that. So, Kas, before we go towards the end of the episode, anything that you would like to say to anyone watching, any advice about moving to Dubai, going back home to the UK, or even about joining Liars and Friends?
Is this like a segment? Is this something that everybody does? Like, or so like on the spot when it comes to advice about, I don't know if I put myself in a position to be giving people advice.
No, what do you think, for example, if a friend was, let's say I'm asking you, what advice would you give me about moving like Dubai, or what advice would you give me about if I were to go back to London?
So Dubai, I would say like find your tribe. Okay. Like if you're coming to Dubai, find your tribe. Like it's so easy to make 4 million friends. Like there's a lot of things happening on the surface. Like you can collect people so easily, but you can lose people just as easily. So for me, like I've got there's 2 friends, my first ever friends when I was here, Ellie and Shelly. I met them at the gym. They've got something so special, man. Like they've both been here like circa 7 years, maybe even more, right? And they've been together like as friends the whole time. The whole time. And it's weird. Like it seems so rare over here. Like friendships kind of last 2 years, 3 years. They've got like they've got like a span. But yeah, like if you find your tribe, you kind of can't be lonely because you've got that level of intimacy, and I always say that you can be shallow with deep friends. You can't be deep with shallow friends. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like 100%. So for me, it's almost find these people, create those roots, like the longer the roots, and then you can everything you want to do, you can do with these people. 100%. Otherwise, it can be lonely. You can sink into those existential crisis kind of moments and all of the rest of it when all of your friends are no longer around because one's traveled, the other one's, I don't know, sick, the other one's, I don't know, doing this, busy, this one's got to work, and then you find yourself in on the weekend, like, okay, cool, what am I doing with my life? X, Y, and Z. And I see it happen so often. So maybe that's it. Find your tribe if you come over here, like, and then you will really, really, really enjoy the space because Dubai has so much to offer. Like, I don't need to talk to you about the sun. The sunsets here, like, I've been here on every day. I've been just somewhere where I can just soak in the sun because you're so close to the equator as well. The sun literally falls out of the sky within seconds, but when it's there and it's coming down, it is the most miraculous and most, I don't know, beautiful thing that you've ever seen. So there's so many good things here. Like, you just have to set yourself up to enjoy them. I think that's pretty much it. I don't know if that class as advice, but that's the one thing I would say if you're coming here. Yeah.
And for anyone leaving Dubai, going back home, wherever home must be.
Depends on where home is. Like, I don't know. Make sure you've got everything you need from here. Like, I'm big on not having regrets. So like when you go back home, make sure you're ready to go back home. Make sure you know what you're going home for. Whether it's that you have a plan, whether it's you're going home for family because you really miss them and that's what. Make sure you know what you're going home for. And then when you get there, be ready to pivot. Because if things are not the same as they were when you left, then you're gonna find yourself kind of, all right, should I be here? Should I go back? X, Y, and Z. So maybe those things. Like, just know what you want to travel back for, and then if things are not the same, have not necessarily a plan B, but just be ready to move in the direction that life is taking you. Sounds really, I don't know, cheesy and a little bit like, but yeah.
I like it. And anyone in the UK who wants to join Liars and Friends, where can they find the tickets? Where can they find everything, all the information?
Instagram. At the moment, we're kind of keeping I'm not doing too much in terms of like when it was embryonic, I wanted to make sure that it was manageable. So we've got an Instagram account. It's Liars and Friends UK. And yeah, like, hit us up. We are active. We are so active on the DMs and all of the rest of it. So feel free, hit us up. And it'll be a good night. Like, I can promise that. Like, if in fact we've even got like a highlights reel of like testimonies and stuff. Like, there's millions of them. It's a good night, and I can see that because I live it vicariously through the people that come. Yeah. So yeah.
All right, thank you, Kas. So let's go to my famous rapid fire question.
Here we go.
I wrote a few questions specially for you.
Okay.
Just special for you. All right. It starts easy. Early bird or night owl?
Easy. Night owl.
Okay. City life or island life?
City life.
Okay. Wait with this one. Apple or Android?
You are a nasty piece of work, you know. You are.
I had to put it.
Yeah, you're so bad for that. You are so bad for that. Do you want to give them context before I answer the question?
Yeah, go on.
No, you want to give them context.
Okay. So, Kas has been owner of an Android for God knows what.
You're nasty. You're nasty for that.
You're making me spit. So, he's been an owner of an Android phone for God knows why, and a lot of people has complained about the quality of his stories and videos and what sort. And recently, he purchased an iPhone. He's now transited to the Apple team.
Yep.
And when he transited, he complained a lot.
I did.
And
now I have a public apology to make to Team iPhone. The iPhone is magical. Like, it is like the new 16. I bought it mainly for like film and like purposes. I do a little bit of filming and stuff, but geez, man, the quality of the stuff there. Still getting used to the operating system, so it's not 100%. Like, I'm still a little bit got a percentage in the Android space, but this is a public apology. This is a public apology to Team iPhone. I am so sorry. I will never speak bad of you guys again. Okay, like, iPhone. It is iPhone.
Okay, perfect. All right. So, 3 countries you haven't visited yet, but is on your bucket list.
Japan, Mexico, Bolivia.
Okay. Now let's go a little bit towards food. If you could eat only one thing
Plantain.
I knew it, but I just thought maybe.
Plantain. Next question.
Why don't you like avocados?
You're doing me so dirty.
It's so good. Like, you can have it in so many ways.
It tastes like nothing. It tastes like a dermatologist is supposed to give it to you. Like, it's a face thing. Like, it doesn't. Avocado is not. And those people that eat avocado with a spoon and just like.
No, but you season it.
Even with, and I've tried avocado everywhere. I'm from the Caribbean. I've tried avocado everywhere. That is the food of serial killers, man. Yes.
That's wrong. Come
All
on,
of you
it's
guys,
so good.
all of you avocado lovers, all of you sparkling water drinkers, all of you like and I will never apologize for that. iPhone, you got me. I'm not apologizing for this one.
All right. If you had to choose one country to stay for the rest of your life.
Oh, man. It's between London and Colombia, and I'm going Colombia.
Okay.
I'm going Colombia.
All right. If you had any superpower, which one would it be?
Oh, I want to come back to that. I feel like my answers are too generic. I want to come back to that. I'm going to say something and then go home and say, God damn, I should have said this. Yeah, come back to that one. Come back to that one.
All right. So, if you had a lamp and you rub on it and a genie comes out and say, hey, Kas, here's 3 wishes.
Okay, these questions are getting harder, man.
I told you.
3 wishes.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And there is no caveats.
In what sense?
As in, like, there's nothing I can't wish for.
Yeah, you can wish whatever you want, but you have only 3 wishes. Whatever you want.
So I can't wish for more wishes?
No. You got 3 only.
Boring answer is maybe generational wealth, like so that my offspring, my family, like moving forward, generational wealth. I also feel like the generational, I don't know if it's awareness or consideration or intelligence or whatever that comes with it, because sometimes when you got money, that can turn you into a different person. So there is that. The third one, all of these questions, I'm going to go home and I'm going to kick myself for answering really badly.
I'm expecting messages like, Mia, why?
Yeah.
Why did you ask me this?
Maybe, I know my superpower, but the third wish would be, I'm gonna give you something really bad because I just can't think of the third one at the moment. But I'm going to say, infinite health.
Okay, perfect. What's your superpower?
I want to be able to transport to any space. Just like, I don't like flying. Okay. I don't like 9 hours, 24 hours. To get from here to Colombia was 25 hours. I can't stand those things. I want to be able to just and be anywhere. Okay. Sometimes I'm on a night out and I want to be able to do this and be in my bed.
Yeah.
Like, so
I hear you.
Yeah, that. And if it wasn't that, then it would be to be able to understand any language.
Okay. All right. I hear you. If you had to choose only one music style or genre, whatever you say it in English.
Might be reggae music, you know.
Okay. I like reggae. All right. So we are going towards the last one because I don't want to make you suffer more than that.
Okay.
If you could give one advice to your younger self, which one would it be? Sorry. You can take your time for this one.
Maybe like devote yourself to learning new skills very quickly.
Okay.
That's probably what it would be. Like the ability to learn new skills very quickly, I feel like can take you anywhere in life. And put you in great scenarios, great, I don't know. Yeah, like learning new skills quickly, devote yourself to doing that. I think that would be it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, Kas.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was a pleasure.
You killed me. When that iPhone thing, I'm coming for you.
Sorry. You can get me back when I come play Liars and Friends. Hopefully I'm the Mafia.
Yep. No, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on board. I wish you all the best. I'll see you soon in
For
less
sure.
than a month.
Yep.
I'll see you in the UK in the cold.
Excited. I can show you. Yeah, I can show you the parts of London that you didn't see when you were there. So
let's do that. This is accountability, guys. I've got this on camera.
That's all good. I'll take care of that. That's all good.
I know. I'm just teasing you. Thank you again, Kas. Enjoy the rest of your holidays.
I shall.
I see you very soon.
100%.
Thank you again. And on that note, guys, I'm gonna love you and leave you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.